Hello, welcome to Introduction to Database and SQL. In this session, we are going to discuss about MySQL aggregate functions using JDBC. So how to use aggregate functions using Java database connectivity. Let's begin. So, there are aggregate functions which are defined as part of SQL, and same have been also available as part of MySQL RDBMS. So what are those aggregate functions? We have already discussed them as part of the MySQL. Now let's understand how we can actually use these aggregate functions in a Java program and to connect with the database, and how do we fetch those results. Okay, so previously we have understood the steps to connect to the database, and now let's understand these aggregate functions and usage of the same using the Java program. Yeah, so MySQL provides set of aggregate functions that allow us to perform calculations on the results. So whenever you make a result, a select query, and whatever the result that you are getting, so you can actually find how many records you have. So how many records you got it, right? So we can actually find the number of records straight away. And based on certain condition also, how many records are the rows which are there in a particular table or particular result, we can actually make a count. So for that purpose, we have a count function. And then we have any column or any field which is having a numeric value. So then we can actually do a sum of that particular column values. Okay, we can find the sum of all the salaries. Okay, sum of total sales. Okay, sum of total number of total number of candidates, something like that. So you can actually make sum whenever you have a numeric column. The same fashion, we have something called average. Okay, so for that we have AVG. So AV is the function name, and it calculates the average, which is nothing but the mean of numeric values in a column. For example, select average of employees, average GPA of students, etc. In the same fashion, we have two important functions as aggregate functions, which are min and max. Min is used to find the minimum value out of all the data of that particular column. So for example, we have the world database. In the world database, if you see, there are almost some 4,000 chain cities are there. So out of all those 4,000 cities, which city has the lowest population? Which city has the highest population, right? So irrespective of the size or the length of that particular data, okay, or the table, so you can actually find the min and max values. Okay, what is the min price from the products? What is the max price from the products? And min population, max population, etc. and etc. If you go to that world database and we have that countries, cities, right? So you can actually find out the min and max based on the fields which are available over there. So these are some of the useful aggregate functions which are defined in MySQL. Okay, so let me actually show you how they will work initially in the database, and later we go to our JDBC Java program. So now here I have selected sample DB, and we have three tables: account, book, and student. And the student has three values like SID, SNAME, and GPA. And let me see for account. So DSC account as well. Yeah, I have account number, account balance, and account type. So now let me say select star from student. So I have 4 students, and select star from account. And here I have 5 accounts actually. Okay, so now from the account, I want to find how many accounts are there which are of type account savings actually. How many are there? So now what I do, select count, select, we can say count star from account. Now you can actually give some conditions. Select account star from account where, okay, ACC type equal to savings. Yeah, how many are there? Savings, there are only two actually, right? So if I say the account type equal to current, then I will have three actually, right? So this is how it can actually give us the count value. So count as here we can actually say, so we can alias it actually, select count star as, so whatever the name you want. So for example, I will say XYZ, so it will actually print like XYZ for, right? So this is about the count thing. So I want to find the minimum account balance. So I can actually say select min of or the max of whatever it is. So min comma, I want to say account balance actually. So that is ACC balance as so lowest balance. Okay, so select min account balance as lowest and the max of this account balance as highest. Okay, from count. Okay, now we will actually get the lowest account balance is 20,000 and the highest is going to be 45,000. So the min max, the same fashion, sum average also we can actually use. So for example, if I want to select the sum of all the balances actually. So what I can do is select sum of ACC balance. Okay, at the same time, I can actually find the average also, average of the account balance. So it will give us the average account balance from the account. So sum is going to be this much. Okay, yeah. So sum of all these account balance is this much, and average is going to be 33,000. So right. So these are the MySQL aggregate functions. Fine. So this directly we are using, and in MySQL database, that's absolutely fine. Now let's actually do from JDBC. So for that, I need to have my Java program, and we are using NetBeans. So we know how to connect to the database already. So we have understood the steps, loading drivers, establishing the connection, and then we have to create a statement. And later we have to make use of disaggregate functions. Okay. So there is one important thing to understand while using aggregate functions. I will stress on that. So let me actually now create a statement, because we need to issue statements here from our program, Java program, and use these these aggregate functions. So create a statement. So how do we create a statement? Simple, right? So we will say, we'll use statement interface, statement st equal to con dot create statement. Okay. So this is the simplest of all the three statements which are available: statement, repeat statement, and callable statement. Now by using this statement, I can actually issue the queries. Fine. So what query we want to do actually, so that we have to be very much clear. So now, as an example, just to check, so what I do, I will actually create a query string query equal to. So I'm just writing one query, select. Okay, so let me actually go to and understand the student. So I will apply on student now, because we have seen already on account. Yeah, so select star from student. Now we have actually 4 students and CCPS are there. So we can apply min, max, count, average, etc. and etc. So now what I want to do, select count star. Okay, so total count of the records I would like to know, and min CGPA. I want min CGPA, comma. I want maximum CGPA also. And in fact, I can actually find the average CGPAs also. Okay, so only left is sum actually. So if you want sum of the CGPAs, we can actually say sum of CGPA as well. Okay, from student. So there's no condition straight away I'm asking it. Right, so this is my query. Select count star. So total records it will give me. So what is the minimum CGPA, maximum CGPA, average CGPA, sum from student actually. Okay, so this query is a select query, right? So when a select query is used, so you need to actually process the result. Okay, so let me actually do here execute query and process the result, right? So the step is going to be the this one will be the fourth step. Okay, execute query and process the result. Okay, so for that what I'm doing is result set. I'm taking result set because select query result set rs equal to, let's execute the query. Okay, statement dot execute query, and I need to pass my query. So in my query I have used all my aggregate functions, right? So these are all aggregate functions, right? Yeah. So what is new in aggregate functions? That's actually what new you have to learn when I'm dealing with aggregate functions. That is important. That's going to come now. So now what happens? Statement.execute query. This query is going to get executed, and it will return actually how many values. So I will get count, min, max, average, and sum. So 5 results I will be getting as a single row actually. Fine. So now I have to print them. So the result is there in the result set, right? So how to process the results? So why we need to say like this, while rs dot next, while rs dot next. Now the point is, how do I print them actually? So because this count star or min or max, they are not the fields. They are not the fields. If they are fields, I can access them by field name. Okay, SID, SName, CGPA, I will get it. I will actually get by column names also if they are fields. If column number also, if their columns are fields, I can use their names and I can get it. Otherwise, I will use the number actually, index, column index. But here, these are not the columns, right? So this count star is an aggregate function. Min is an aggregate function. So how do we access them? Okay, so they're not the names of the fields or the columns. So how do I access? So for that, what you need to know is, so you can actually access them only through index. Okay, so count is actually the first result, so it will be at index 1. Min will be the second result, so index will be 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. So this is something that you have to know. So far what we have discussed, right? So we have the column names and we are actually using the column names or indices. Now these are the functions actually which are giving certain results. So here you have to see what is the index for this result. So count star is the first one, right? So now what I do is system.out.println, and count star is what? It's going to be an integer, right? So now what I do is, so what it's actually, so count of records or the rows is going to be rs dot get int. It is an integer, right? So get int of 1. So this is the first result. This is something important. Second one. So what is the second one? Second one is about the min CGPA, right? So we will say min CGPA, which is going to be rs dot. So CGPA is actually what? Double value, right? So get double. And I have to pass the index. That's the index 2. In the same fashion, yeah, so let me copy this so that, yeah, in the same fashion, the third is the max CGPA, which is again a double. So this is the index 3, and here this is the max CGPA. And let me copy. Yeah, so now I am going to get average CGPA. So I will say this is average CGPA, and which is going to be double actually. So now this also index 4. And finally, we have sum. CGP is a double value, so sum is also a double value, right? So now this is going to be sum of all CGPS is going to be rs.get double of 5. So this is what we have to learn actually, because they are the aggregate functions. So we can't have names, so we can actually give them only the indices. That's it. So let's have a query with aggregate functions, and you want to get that, so use the index. Fine. So let me save this and compile. So run file. Yeah. Now you can see initially what we are doing. So whenever the connection is established, we are saying connection is established, and then I have issued an aggregate function query, and I'm getting them actually here. So count of records is 4, and min CGP is 8.1, max is CGP is 8.3, average is calculated 8.2, and sum is actually 32. So if you want to check actually, so we have 8.1 as a min and 8.3 as the max one actually. Fine. So for example, if you want to insert any data now, so and you run the code again, so it will actually going to get updated. So now what I do is we will insert two values over here. So insert into student, okay, and then values. So two records will do actually. So now let's say 115, and student name is let's say Modi, and the CGP is let's say 9.5, and now so we'll have one more student, let's say 109, and student equal to Charlie. Some names I'm taking, and we will give some 7.3. Okay, so what's the value? Insert into student values is missed actually. That keyword I have not used. So values, now it is fine. Now select star from student, you will have 6 rows. Now let me run this query. Run file. Now you can actually see the min CGP is 7.3 and max is going to be 9.5. Fine. So this is how you can actually work with the aggregate functions. So everything is fine. Only the thing is aggregate functions. They will give you some results actually. You will not have the column names because they will work on the result. They will work on the result, right? So that's why you need to use the indices. I hope you have understood this, and see you in the next session. Thank you.